Have you ever imagined walking into a kitchen where time seems to have stood still, but dirt and chaos have advanced without limits? A place that, once vibrant and full of life, now exudes a disturbing silence, interrupted only by the buzzing of flies and the cracking of something decomposing. Prepare for a visual and sensory journey through a scenario many would prefer to ignore, but which reveals an often hidden and painful reality. This video isn't just about disorder. It's about what it represents and the impact it has on someone's life. We will delve deep into the 7 alarming signs of a neglected kitchen, showing the sad truth behind each one. Stay with us until the end to understand the gravity of this situation and, perhaps, how we can identify and act upon it. If this topic touches you or makes you think, please leave your like to help us reach more people, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next content, and in the comments, share which of these signs do you find most concerning. Your opinion is very important to us. Chapter 1. Food scraps on plates and pans for days. Imagine the scene. Plates piled high in the sink, each with remnants of past meals, some weeks old. Dried sauces stuck on food bits, and the characteristic odor of decomposition already spreading through the environment. There are no signs they'll be washed anytime soon, transforming the dirty dishes into a monument to neglect, a sad reminder of forgotten meals. These plates and pans aren't just an aesthetic problem. They become true ecosystems for bacteria and fungi. Every unwashed piece of food is an invitation for microorganisms to proliferate, which, invisible to the naked eye, pose a real health risk. It's a vicious cycle. The longer they remain there, the more dangerous they become, increasing the potential for disease. The smell is another impactful factor. That breeze that should bring the aroma of fresh food is replaced by a pungent, fetid odor that permeates curtains, furniture, and even the clothes of those living there. It's a smell that doesn't dissipate easily, making the environment hostile and uninhabitable for anyone seeking comfort and well-being. In addition to the health risk and unpleasant odor, the constant presence of food scraps attracts unwanted visitors. Flies, cockroaches, and even rodents are drawn to this inexhaustible food source, turning the kitchen into a focal point of infestation. They not only feed, but also carry more dirt and pathogens, worsening the situation. Dirty and accumulated dishes also occupy vital space, making the kitchen inoperable for its main purpose, preparing meals. It's a clear sign that the routine of cleaning and organization has been completely abandoned, perhaps reflecting a physical or mental difficulty the elderly person has in maintaining minimal order in their own home. Chapter 2. Sink clogged with grease and grime buildup. The sink, which should be the center of hygiene in the kitchen, now presents itself as an obstacle, a foul-smelling barrier. The water doesn't drain, pooled over a thick layer of hardened grease, food scraps, and other debris. It's a repulsive sight that denotes a lack of regular cleaning and neglect of one of the most crucial points in the house. A clogged sink doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of a gradual accumulation of residues that, without proper maintenance, solidify and block the water flow. Every incomplete wash, every improperly discarded food bit contributes to this sticky, foul-smelling formation that now dominates the basin. This stagnant, dirty water becomes a perfect breeding ground for bacteria and other harmful microorganisms. Contact with this water can cause infections and other health problems. Furthermore, constant humidity favors the growth of mold and mildew on the sink edges and surrounding areas, further worsening air quality. The odor emanating from a clogged sink is particularly unpleasant. The mixture of rancid grease, decomposing food scraps, and stagnant water creates a putrid smell that quickly spreads through the kitchen and can even reach other rooms in the house. It's a clear indication of a serious problem that requires immediate attention. Solving the problem of a clogged sink with a significant buildup of grease and grime usually requires more than a simple plunger. Often, strong chemical products or even professional intervention are necessary. This difficulty in reversing the situation reinforces the idea that prevention with regular cleaning habits is always the best approach. Chapter 3: Refrigerator with moldy food and a putrid smell. Opening the refrigerator and being confronted by a putrid smell is an unequivocal sign that something is seriously wrong. Inside, the landscape is desolate. Forgotten containers with unrecognizable food scraps, fruits and vegetables transformed into moldy masses, and packages that have lost their identity under a layer of greenish or black mold. This scene isn't just aesthetically unpleasant, it's an imminent health hazard. Moldy and deteriorated foods are sources of bacteria and toxins that can cause severe food poisoning. The simple inhalation of contaminated air inside the refrigerator can trigger respiratory problems, especially in elderly individuals with more fragile immune systems. The fetid smell, which is often the first alert, is the result of advanced decomposition. The action of bacteria and fungi on organic matter releases volatile gases that spread through the environment, impregnating other foods, the refrigerator walls, and even the kitchen air, making it almost unbearable. The presence of spoiled food in an elderly person's refrigerator can indicate several underlying problems. It could be forgetfulness, difficulty in discarding what's no longer useful, or even a physical limitation that prevents the person from regularly cleaning and organizing the appliance. It's a vicious cycle of deterioration and disorder that feeds itself. Cleaning a refrigerator in this state requires considerable effort, and often it's necessary to discard practically all its contents to eliminate the source of the problem. It's a thankless task that, if not done, continues to pose a constant risk to the elderly person's health and well-being, transforming an essential item into a source of contamination. Chapter 4: Overflowing trash, attracting insects and rodents. One of the most visible and disturbing signs of neglect in a kitchen is overflowing trash, accumulated in torn bags, boxes, or even scattered on the floor. Packaging remnants, food scraps, dirty papers. Everything piles up, forming a repulsive mountain that exudes a penetrating and unmistakable odor of putrefaction. This pile of trash isn't just a matter of disorganization. It quickly transforms into a lavish feast for an unwanted variety of visitors. Flies buzz incessantly around the debris. Cockroaches scurry among the remnants. And in more severe cases, even rats and mice can be seen seeking food and shelter in this environment. The presence of insects and rodents represents a serious health risk. They are disease vectors, carrying bacteria and viruses from one place to another, contaminating surfaces, utensils, and even other foods. The proximity of these vectors to the food preparation area makes the kitchen a potential focus of infection. The smell of accumulated trash is one of the hardest to ignore. It seeps into fabrics, walls, and even the elderly person's clothes, making the environment unbearable and preventing any possibility of social interaction. It's an odor that screams for attention, denouncing a situation of extreme neglect. In addition to health risks and bad odors, overflowing trash also creates a physical obstacle in the environment, hindering circulation and increasing the risk of trips and falls, especially for elderly individuals with reduced mobility. It's an invisible barrier that traps the person in their own home in a cycle of dirt and isolation. Chapter 5: Greasy and sticky floor, risk of falls. Walking through the kitchen and feeling the floor stick to your feet is an unpleasant and dangerous experience. The greasy and sticky floor is not just a sign of a lack of cleaning, but an invisible trap covered by a slippery layer of grease, dust, and food remnants that have accumulated over time. It's a constant risk, Matt. This treacherous surface is the result of never-cleaned cooking splashes, forgotten spills, and a complete absence of basic hygiene. Every step on this unstable floor is an invitation to an accident, transforming a simple act like getting a glass of water into a risky task full of potential dangers. For an elderly person who often already has reduced mobility, compromised balance, and more fragile bones. A slippery floor represents an alarming risk. A fall can result in severe fractures, debilitating injuries, and even loss of independence, transforming the kitchen into a place of fear and isolation. In addition to physical danger, the greasy floor also contributes to the kitchen's bad smell. Rancid grease in contact with dirt exhales a heavy and unpleasant odor that adds to the other smells of neglect. It's a constant reminder of the dirt that permeates the environment, affecting air quality and well-being. Cleaning a floor in this state requires time, effort, and specific products to remove the ingrained grease layer. It's heavy work that is often beyond the capacity of an elderly person. The recovery of this environment is crucial for safety and health, but requires significant intervention. Chapter 6: Fungi and mold on walls and cabinets. The presence of dark and greenish stains on the walls, ceiling, and inside kitchen cabinets is an unmistakable sign of excessive humidity and inadequate ventilation. These are fungi and mold growing silently, transforming the surface into a disgusting tapestry that exudes a musty smell, denouncing the deterioration of the environment. These unwanted invaders are not just an aesthetic issue. They represent a real health hazard, especially for elderly individuals who may have more vulnerable immune systems. Inhaling mold spores can trigger or worsen respiratory problems such as asthma and allergies, causing coughing, sneezing, and breathing difficulties. Mold and fungi thrive in humid and low-light environments. A lack of regular cleaning and the accumulation of moisture due to leaks, condensation, or simply the absence of adequate ventilation create the perfect conditions for their proliferation. It's a cycle of neglect that feeds the growth of these organisms. In addition to health risks, mold and mildew cause significant structural damage. They can corrode paint, mortar, and even the wood of cabinets, compromising the integrity of surfaces and requiring expensive and time-consuming repairs. The kitchen, once a place for food preparation, becomes an unsanitary and decaying environment. Removing fungi and mold requires more than simple cleaning. It's often necessary to use specific products and even protective equipment. It's an exhausting task that an elderly person is likely unable to perform, revealing the urgent need for intervention to restore the salubrity of the environment. Chapter 7: Lack of basic hygiene items such as detergent or a clean sponge. A kitchen without basic hygiene items is a paralyzed kitchen, unable to fulfill its primary function. The absence of detergent, a clean sponge, or even decent dishcloths is not just an oversight, but an alarming sign that the most fundamental maintenance of the environment has been completely abandoned, allowing dirt to reign. Without detergent, grease accumulates, surfaces become greasy, and germs proliferate unchecked. A dirty, old, and worn-out sponge, in turn, spreads more bacteria than it cleans, rendering any attempt at sanitization ineffective and turning cleaning into a useless, or worse, counterproductive act. The lack of these essential items can be a symptom of severe disorganization, financial difficulties, or, more disturbingly, an indication that the elderly person no longer has the capacity or energy to perform basic home care tasks. It's an invisible barrier that prevents the person themselves from maintaining a healthy environment. The absence of adequate cleaning products perpetuates the cycle of dirt and deterioration. Without the right tools, the kitchen can never be properly sanitized, and each use will only worsen the situation, making it increasingly unsanitary and dangerous for the health of those living there. Offering and replenishing these basic items can be a simple but significant first step to help an elderly person in this situation. However, it is crucial to understand that the lack of these materials is often a symptom of deeper problems, requiring a more comprehensive approach and continuous support to be resolved. Conclusion: the journey through this neglected kitchen reveals more than just dirt and disorganization. It exposes the fragility and vulnerability of an elderly person who, for various reasons, may no longer be able to take care of themselves and their home. Every dirty dish, every fetid smell, and every moldy corner is a silent cry for help, a reminder that dignity and health can be lost when the necessary support is not present. It is a harsh reality, but one that needs to be seen and understood so that we can act more empathetically and effectively. We hope this video has been informative and, above all, has awakened in you a more attentive eye towards the people around you. If you've made it this far, you've shown interest in this important topic. Please leave your like so that this content reaches more people. Subscribe to the channel so we can continue to bring relevant discussions. And in the comments, share what was the most shocking aspect of this kitchen for you. Your perspective is very valuable